lately I've been going through some of the matches that Vitaliy has had and Devon as well, and more specifically their most recent match that they had, left hand match. And man, the more I analyze it, the more I think about it, the more I think that Devon's path to victory is actually full of landmines and traps. So, in spite of that, I think I've come up with a theory of how Devon could actually win this match. So, if you think about it, on paper, as crazy as it might sound, I think Vitaliy is actually a favorite, the favorite, because just take a look at his strengths. First of all, he has a crazy, insane side pressure. I mean, his arm also is not easy to open. The elbow flexor is just super strong. You don't open up his arm super easy. And he just combines it with that top roll. He adds that side pressure as well. And it is just super hard to stop, combined with the flop press that he's been coming in super hot lately on the left and right with that flop press. And he's not just using it, he's winning matches, man, like against Michael Todd, for example. If you've been around the sport for any amount of time, you know that the king's move against a flop press is usually favorable for the king's mover. But still, Vitaliy is just doing it super smart, super strong, and he's been winning matches. Also, Vitaliy's explosivity off the go, man, it's just insane. He's been catching people in the strap and out of the strap. Off the go, just flash pins them. And we know that Devon is not known to be a super fast puller, although he's been improving that, and I'll go over it in a moment. Also, Vitaliy is not a hookable guy. Like, you know that the blueprint to stop a flop press is a hook, but you can't hook Vitaliy. So how is Devon supposed to stop that flop press from coming? Vitaliy is just super strong. Like, he's not hookable on either arm. It's not just a left arm, right arm. It's not even an option. I think Devon has been talking about that.
And do you believe that your left hook, specifically your hook, would be good enough for Duck Latin's flop?
Well, that's where it fits in, right?
I think it was just probably mind games or something like that, just trying to mislead. But I don't really think he actually wanted to or planned to use a hook, even on the left arm, because it's not. How are you going to hook Vitaliy? And another strength that Vitaliy has is his strong grip. Man, even if you're super strong against him, you might find a lane against him on the strap. How are you going to get to the strap? You might not even be able to. Combine that with his super long lever, especially for Devon, you know, it's been a problem for him. If you look at the past, for example, his matches against Matt Mask, he's had some trouble with long levers. So if you look at all those things combined, you're like, you just created the perfect counter attack for Devon. So also we know that Devon's weaknesses are exactly the Vitaliy's strengths, like long lever, flop press, side pressure in general. You know, somebody has really strong side pressure, it can be a problem for him. And in general, arm power. So somebody who has a lot of arm power can actually get him to open up his arms. He might go into a king's move, but then Vitaliy has the flop press to follow up. So all of that combined, there's no way for them to win. But here is my theory. If you look at this match from Devon and Levon, and you compare it to the left arm match that Devon and Vitaliy just had, you can see I see a lot of similarities actually. Like, Devon was able to stop them in the center. Of course, after the ready go a few seconds later, he was moved off the center. But if you think about it, on the left against Vitaliy, I think we could expect that Devon won't have the power, the necessary power and ability to stay and stop Vitaliy in the center. So the best way he can actually get some sort of stop is going into a king's move, you know, that open arm top roll, open top roll position, whatever you want to call it. And then he goes into a full-blown king's move. But that's the best way he has to crack Vitaliy's wrist. So he has to move off the center into the B side, his B side, to be able to crack Vitaly's wrist and get some sort of stop. But against Levon, Devon was able to stop Levon, which I think we can all agree that Levon is a lot stronger than Vitaliy on the right. So the logic is this. We know that it was expected that Devon would not be able to hold Vitaliy in the center. But we know that Vitaly's arms are very similar in power. Pretty similar. And the way he pulls, you can see in this video that the way he initiates his top roll was very similar to the way he did it on the left. So it's not like he pulls in a very different way when he pulls on the right and on the left. He's just very similar. He might just have a little more power in some specific moves, but overall it's pretty similar. So Vitaliy can be kind of consistent across both arms. We know that Devon is stronger on the right. So I think we can expect that if Devon was able to stop Levon in the center, I think he's able to stop Vitaliy as well. And it's not like Vitaliy is super strong and super explosive off the go, but it's not like Devon wasn't able to stop that first hit. You look at the left arm, he was able to stop it. I mean, I think it is very likely that we're going to see Devon stop him on the right as well. I think it's very logical too. I think his right is even a little more explosive. So I think it is very likely that he can stop Vitaliy in the center. And in my opinion, the lane is in the center, because if he gets into the B side, his B side, Vitaliy will follow up with a press, and I don't see a way for Devon to actually stop it. There might be a way, I don't know, but I would say that he's going to be drained really quickly. He's going to get gassed out pretty quickly, just like happened on the left arm. Also, granted, Devon says that his endurance on the right is just off the charts, not even comparable to the left. But still, if you're in a very inefficient position, you're going to get gassed out pretty quickly. And I think Vitaliy is more effective and more efficient with his flop press, so he might get to keep a little bit of his strength. So I hope I'm making sense, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and make the prediction of how I think the match will actually go. So I think that since we've seen in the past how Georgi Zeranov was able to slip from Vitaliy on the right arm, Morozov was able to do it too, although for some reason he wanted to go into a hook. I think it was in the last round, and he was not able to slip, so I think that was actually a mistake from Morozov. But if Zeranov and Morozov were able to slip, I think it is very likely that Devon will be able to slip from Vitaliy, just like he did on the left. So I think it will go to straps 100%. I don't think we're going to see flash pins, especially in the first round, from Vitaliy out of the straps. So then I think once it goes into straps, I think we might see a few false starts, maybe from Vitaliy, most likely from Devon. Then when they finally start, I think Vitaliy will hit. But I think the best way, and I think it is possible, that's the reason why I'm saying this, I think it's possible for them to stop him in the center. And if he can hold him in the center, I think that could actually stop Vitaliy from pressing. Because so far, I don't think we've seen Vitaliy press from the center. He might try it, but I don't think it's going to be as effective. Like, I think somebody like Hermes, I think he's super dangerous because I've seen him start a press from even like the B side, his B side, and he just carries on into the A side. So I don't think Vitaliy is able to do that and has enough power to do that against Devon. So if Devon can stop him in the center, I think Devon will be in a much more efficient position. And they're probably going to fight that. I think this is where everything becomes a gray area. Devon might initiate a press of his own from the center. I think he might be able to, but again, we don't know. And the reason why I'm saying that Devon might be able to follow up with the press off the center is because Vitaliy, from what we've seen, is that he's not a very good defensive puller. When he's in the center or close to his B side, he's very weak. Like we've seen it against Hermes. He was not able to stop Hermes. Granted, there was a match before that happened, a long fight. But you can see that even in the later rounds, after he was defeated and pinned by Hermes, he still had a lot of gas and he could flash pin Hermes, I think, a couple times or one time. So it's not like he was completely gassed out. He just got into a position where he could not defend. So I think he's not a very good defensive puller. So I think Devon's key is there, holding the center, preventing him from flop pressing, because I don't think a hook will actually work. And the closer he stays to the center, the more he prevents that flop press. So you might say that Levon was able to start a press after being stopped in the center. Well, I think Levon is Levon, and I don't think Vitaliy is at the same level as Levon. He might be. I think he has the potential, but he's not there yet. And Levon's side pressure was just so crazy that he could move Devon off the center, and then he initiated the press. And even then, I think Devon was able to hold him for a few seconds, but he went into an illegal king's move, and yeah, so I think he would have gotten pinned anyways, but just not super quick. But I think that is the lane for Devon. We've seen in a couple matches that Devon is actually capable of stopping people like Levon in the center. You might say Levon was not super strong or confident in his wrist the first round. Either way, whatever it is, you have to admit that even that Levon in the first round probably wouldn't have been stopped by anybody else in the top 10 like Devon did on that day. So do I think that Vitaliy is that strong? Just as strong as Levon in the first round? Maybe. Most likely not. So if he is not, and Devon can bring the same shape and strength and even better than the one he brought against Levon, then I think he can stop him in the center. And he's fast enough to catch Vitaliy. We've seen it. Even on the left arm, he was capable of doing that. So that is my theory, my prediction. So just to finalize it, I think Devon needs to stay in the center. I don't think a hook is an option. Then he probably needs to gas out Vitaliy's arm near the center, not on the B side like he usually does. And then he can take the hand and maybe try to top roll, maybe try to do a press of his own and get the pin. But I think Devon has to find the most efficient way, which I believe is not in the B side, on his B side, to gas out Vitaliy. So then he can go for the pin, but I don't think he can go for a pin and finish him before he gasses him out. So that is my prediction. I went out on a limb, and let's see what happens. This whole thing might be just completely wrong, and maybe Vitaliy is at a level that we're not aware of. But I just doubt it. I just don't think so. I don't think he's at the level of Levon, and if you're not at the level of Levon, then Devon has a chance. So, and even we saw that Devon is capable to somehow get a stop on Levon. So that is my prediction, and can't wait for the match. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will really read them. I look forward to your guys' opinion, because it's never said and done when it comes to arm wrestling. Even the arm wrestlers themselves don't know what's going to happen, but we can have our theories and analyze things and what is the most likely outcome. That is my opinion, and like, subscribe, and I hear you guys in the comments.